Welcome back. This is the third video in my demonstration post-production film trailer Atmos mix in Pro Tools. These videos are for New England School of Communications immersive audio students, and this is a homework assignment in which you mix this film trailer. In the first video, I set up the session. In the second video, we just did a quick dialogue mix and got a rough level for it. And this third mix is going to be about getting the music in to the mix. So we've got a dialogue level, and if you weren't already, you can certainly open up the video and watch the video along as you work. It's certainly nice to do. I'm not going to do that here in this video because I'm just focused on the Pro Tools activities. But we've got the dialogue. We're going to mute the dialogue for the moment and kind of look at the music and see how it sounds. I'm going to open up the music and just kind of check it out in solo and isolation. Open up the trailer, and you can see that the music is just a stereo file. It was originally a 5.1 mix in the actual trailer for the film. It sounds really great, and again, as I said earlier in the previous video, make sure you listen to the 5.1 ref mix all the way down to see what the professionals did for the mix. It'll give you some ideas of how to treat your mix. But of course, it is only stereo because yours truly, your instructor, has collapsed the beautiful 5.1 mix down to stereo to make your life miserable and more challenging. You want to make it immersive. So you'll want to kind of listen down and see how it sounds in different parts of the in different parts. There's the loud part, and of course it starts kind of quiet in different sections in the clip. How are you going to make the sound better? Of course, it's just a stereo bounce. If you feel like you want to EQ and compress and do those kinds of things that you might do in a music mix, go right ahead. But I don't think it really needs those things. What I think we need to do is some way to make this immersive. And you can use some fancy plugins if you like Pentio Upmix or Metric Halo Upmix or whatever you got. You could pan it around and all bad chorus, but all that's kind of silly, in my opinion. I would just add some reverb to it and put that reverb in the rear channels and the height channels and kind of just make this beautiful mix a little bit more expansive. So let's do that. Let's add a little reverb to it. I'm going to make a send here, bus, and we'll use, this is the second take for this video. In the previous take, I made a music verb. So let's use music verb. How I named it, of course, in the previous video is I right-clicked and hit rename, and I typed in music verb. So that's all you missed. So I'm going to use this music verb, and I'm going to hit option here and turn it all the way up to unity gain, so it's going to feed off to the send. And next to the music verb, I'm going to make its return. So Command-Shift-N for new here. I'm going to make a mono aux input, and I will name it music verb. And for those of you who have been in my classes, you probably know I'm a big fan of making reverbs for when we're doing music mixing that you can share with other elements. Perhaps I'll make a reverb return and I'll put it on the far left of my session, and I'll put a little snare drum in it, and I'll put a little vocal in it, and that sort of thing. I don't think you should do that here. I think any reverb you make for the music should live in the music's folder and go directly to the bed associated with the music. So I'm going to send this so it goes to the MX bed, and therefore it will automatically be in the music group. And if you're anal retentive, you might even want to make it have the same obnoxious green color. And the reason why the reverb, any reverb associated with the music should be in the music folder in the music bed. Any reverb associated with the effects should go to the effects bed. The reason why we're doing this is so in the end, if we want to create stems, we can use the grouping feature when we're doing re-renders in Atmos and very easily just say, hey, I want to export, or I just want to print the music stem, and it will have all its reverb in it. And you won't have a situation where a sound effect is feeding a music reverb, and it'll mess up all your stems. So anyway, keep them separate like this. I got to make sure this music verb is being fed by the music verb aux send. I got talking there, and I forgot about that. There's the music verb aux. And we're going to put a reverb on it. And there's lots of choices. Easy thing to do is pick one that's fully immersive, so you won't have to play with it too much. We have a few choices here at Nescom. We've got Altiverb, we've got a Fab Filter, but I'm going to use one of my favorites here, which is the cinematic rooms, because it's just awesome sounding. Its default does this big orchestral hall very well, or big room. So cinematic rooms professional, and I'm going to pick one of the higher channel count ones here. So I only have 7.1.2, right? Because this is an Atmos bed here. So let's pick, we don't need reverb going to the sub, so let's do 702. Okay? So let's do that. So this reverb is going to be everywhere, and there it is. And now let's just make sure we have that reverb. And it is definitely surrounding me now. And I suspect if I go to the loud section, yeah, there's a lot of reverb. Now, one thing I want to do here is that the original mix, which is in stereo, has reverb on it already. I really don't need to add more reverb to the front of the mix, the front channels, the left and right channels. I really just kind of want it behind me and above me and that kind of thing. So what I would do is you can, in this cinematic rooms, really easily turn down the reverb and change the reverb for certain channels. It's up here. It's that button right there. Really like this. Click on that and say, I don't need reverb in the front or very little. This trim here will only be for what I select up there in the upper right. So let's just turn the front down by, 10 dB or something. And let's also take the center channel and just get rid of the reverb altogether. The dialogue's going to live in that center channel. We don't need a bunch of cloudy music verb in that center channel. So with that in mind, I can close this and kind of listen to it. And I'm going to trim the reverb down a little bit here. And it's nice and surrounding, it's immersing me, and I'm getting that wonderful feeling. So cool. With this done, and anything else you want to do to the music to make it sound good, and I think it sounds fine right there, it is time to go open up the dialogue master and kind of hear the roughly mixed dialogue with the roughly immersive music and get a level. So yeah, let's do that. Let's start here at the beginning. And
I wish I wasn't afraid all the time.
Music's nice and loud and exciting. I dig it. That's cool.
I am.
Hey. Oh, now the music seems a bit loud, so I'm going to grab the music master and kind of bring it down a few dB.
People should not be afraid of their governments.
Tucking it underneath. You always want that dialogue up in front. It's definitely the most important element. And get a rough level here. And some parts of this are quite loud. Some parts are softer. Now, mind you, I have not gone through and automated all of the dialogue levels yet. And you have probably done it all the way through, so your mix is probably more stable than mine is. But once you get an approximate music level, leave it alone and go on and work with the sound effects. You can come back and make automated changes to the music later on, and you're going to need to do that because in these sorts of productions, in this film trailer, everything's got to be exciting all the time. And so if there's a brief lapse in the dialogue, the music comes up, and when the dialogue is talking, the music gets ducked down. And so between sound effects, music, and dialogue, you're going to need to automate everything to be exciting and loud. And so this music fader, you're going to have to come back and automate. But for the moment, of course, we're in the step here with the workflow where we're just getting rough levels. So this is a good place to stop the video, and I'll come back in a moment. We'll turn on the sound effects and look at what we need to do for the sound effects for this assignment. All right? Have a great day. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.